Hello everyone. This is your host, Sharon Sirota, and I'd like to welcome to the call today, Michael Soto. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Sharon. How are you today?
Doing great.
Wonderful.
So glad you're here. What an honor.
Thank you very much.
So Michael's spiritual journey started with Shirley MacLaine, a course where he met his first teacher. Little did he know what he was getting into. Anya, who was his teacher, spent 8 months teaching him about energy and spirituality, and from there he went on to learn Jorei, Mariel, and became a teaching Reiki master. It was while volunteering at AAHP, Alternate AIDS Health Project, that he truly began to learn his craft as a healer. It was at that time Spirit began to teach him, but he didn't know it then. From that time, he took many different healing modalities, which has led him to his main practice, shamanism. His form of shamanism is spirit-taught and includes various forms of high-level energy work. His practice includes working multi-dimensionally in the higher and lower dimensions, soul retrieval, removing entities, portals, and windows to include just some of the work he does. He does healing sessions on people, clear their homes and businesses. His practice is always changing since Spirit is always feeding him new info all the time. Along the way, he started the Chicago Healing Circle, which he co-led for 10 years, the Rockford Healing Circle, which he started and co-led for 10 years, and he also took over Healing Circle in Park Ridge, Illinois, which he ran for 3 years, and now the Healing Circle at Sungates Center. So welcome, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the Healing Circle here. There are so many wonderful practitioners that do so many different levels of healing. They're just wonderful. I want to experience them all myself.
And, you know, many people may not understand what a healing circle is, since we started talking about that. Can you explain what it means to go to a healing circle?
Yes. Everybody is welcome to come to the Healing Circle, and they can come and receive a healing of 30 minutes duration from a healer, someone that they can choose if they want to, or just lay down on a table and let somebody work on them. And it will give them a journey into the spiritual world where they can be healed on many different levels. It could be mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. It's a wonderful way to come into it and experience this in a very safe, loving, and nurturing environment.
And anyone that comes to the Healing Circle, they do not need any type of background. They do not need to be religious or even be spiritual in another way. They can just come to experience it and experience the healing. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. They do. This is not a religion. This is spirituality. And this is where many of us are led to give service to others. And it's like going to a buffet. You're going to be able to try a little bit of this and a little bit of that, find out what works for you. And very rarely do you have that opportunity. You'd have to go to many different healers and book sessions with them. But here you have an opportunity to hear healers, meet them, find out what they do. So there's two different groups of people. One are the people that come to be healed, and sometimes that includes healers, and then the other group are healers. And I've met with the group of healers, and they're all very high level. They're very good people. They're very loving, and they have wonderful modalities to share with the public.
Oh, we're so excited to have that Healing Circle come to Sungates Center. And it's going to be wonderful. We invite our listeners to come and experience the Healing Circle for themselves. And we're looking forward to that. So, Michael, can you also explain to us how you started on your wonderful journey, your spiritual journey that got you started in all of this?
Well, my journey kind of began when I was young because my family, my grandmother would go to the temples in Mexico, and these were the spiritual temples where healing was done. And my aunt would come back and tell us stories when we were little kids, and so I grew up hearing all about this, not knowing that I would be doing this. and was when after I got a divorce, that I began to search, and it led me to different books from Unity by Catherine Ponder, and then I began to find my spiritual path. And I took a course with Shirley MacLaine, of all people, and it was a 3-day course. There were 1,100 people, and she would be doing meditations, and everybody was like just zoned out and happy, and I'm going like, what are these people doing? I don't feel anything. There was just nothing going on for me, at that time, because I was shut down. And during that time, during lunch, I went to the lunch counter because I knew no one, and I sat next to this woman, and she and I sat together for 3 consecutive days. And so we got to know each other, and we exchanged numbers, and at the end of the session, Shirley MacLaine broke us into groups of 10. So there were many groups, and the only group that did not have another person was my group, and across from me came this woman who I sat with. Her name was Anya, and she became my teacher. I didn't know she was going to become my teacher, but she was moving, and I volunteered to go and help her pack, but I would bring her food. Being Italian, we think in terms of food.
That's always a great way to be, right? Think about the food.
So I would feed her, and she would do angel cards and different things and started teaching me. Well, by, events that Spirit put together, she ended up moving into my house in the long run. She was going to live somewhere else, and she was allergic to cats, and this woman had a cat coming in. And so she began teaching me, and we never watched TV when I came home from work. We worked on spiritual things. And after 8 months, I could finally feel energy coming out of my hands. And I was absolutely amazed. So then we would start going around to different groups, and I was experiencing different groups. And one of them was Joe Ray, and there was a Joe Ray temple at that time in Evanston. And I went there, and I sat in the back, and I went, oh, yeah, right. This is really working, right? And I was the last one to receive a healing. And that first night, I slept like a log, better than I ever had in my life. I felt rested. I felt energized. I felt good. What Joe Ray does is dispels the clouds around us, which is the energy field that we have. So it takes whatever's in your energy field that is not good for you, and it dispels it.
Oh, that's awesome. Great.
Yeah. And so I went back, and I kept going back, and I finally became a Joe Ray channel.
That's really interesting. Yeah. That, you found the healing, and it took you 8 months to realize that there was actually energy coming out of your hands.
Exactly.
And then once you noticed that, then it was something that kept drawing you, though. Even though you didn't feel it, you still going back for 8 months,
Yes.
not to see the results, but you had faith, or you had some interest that kept drawing you to it. And, you mentioned Shirley MacLaine, who's a wonderful actress, and, and a very spiritual person who put herself out there in teaching people about spirituality at a time where it may not have been so popular.
Exactly.
So what kept you going?
Well, what was interesting is that several people I met at that time at the course actually became friends later on in my life. And I didn't know that. But, sometimes we're guided to go along a certain path, and that's how my path was. And then from Joe Ray, I went on to Marielle, which was taught by one of the original 22 Reiki masters, Ethel Lombardi. And she had her own way of teaching to work with energy. And then I went into Reiki because I went down to Florida to work on racehorses and do therapy work. And I met my Reiki master, Myrna Levy, down there. And she was working with people with HIV at the time, and I wanted to go and volunteer. And it was there that I began to work with it. And when I came back from Florida, I was looking for a venue in order to use the healing work that I had been taught. And it turned out to be Alternate AIDS Health Project, AAHP. And I worked on people with AIDS for 10 years. And I learned how to cross people over, how to create the bridge, so when it came their time to leave, they would go over to the other side into the light. So
that's
that
very
was,
interesting work that, because everybody, what we all do, we all transition.
yes,
But there's a way to do this that you help people with that makes
yeah,
it easier. Is
yes,
that right?
yes, exactly. And, it doesn't cross them over, but what it does is it creates a bridge so when they are ready to leave, because when you begin to work with people that are very sick, there is a time when they may choose to leave this earth plane, and this gives them a way to go to the light, that there's no blocks. And I did that for my father, I did that for my mother, and I've done that for many, many people in this world. So my first venue was to help people cross over, and then when I got my farm, I've been foaling horses, and so now I've learned how to bring life into this world.
That's
So I do a little
absolutely
bit of both.
wonderful, wonderful. So you do work with the animals, the horses.
Yes, yes.
And how is it that you're also able to help the horses? Because you started doing that before you did the craft as a healer to help people transition.
Well, I grew up in a family where my father had his first racehorse when I was born, so I was brought up around the racetrack. And, it's a very hard life for both the people and the animals, and I found that the vets would say, give them another shot and they'll be fine, and it will only last so long. And I said, this is not enough. These animals need more help than what we're doing. And it led me into herbs, and I learned a little bit about American herbs and Chinese herbs, and that's where I encountered Moxa Bustion from a friend of mine, and that worked at the track, and we worked together learning the healing arts and then applying it to the animals. And animals are very, very open to the healing arts. I remember one time a horse was colicking before a race and the trainer wasn't around, and I could not touch the horse, but I went to the stall and I just put energy into the horse. I used Joe Ray and Marielle, and he came out of colic. Okay.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And
So
you see the results right away when it works with the animals. In other words, there's no placebo, right?
no, there isn't. There isn't. They respond very, very fast. I had another client I can recall who was going in for an operation on his throat, and the doctors were 99% certain it was cancer, and that vibration wasn't there. Each disease has a certain signature vibration, and if you begin to learn what that vibration is, you can tell whether that is there, and it wasn't there. So he came out of his operation saying it was a very rare mass he had, but it was not cancerous, and the doctors were very surprised. And I had also worked on his dog, which had some problems, and he said, and I have to tell you, you worked on my dog, and my dog had cancer, and you didn't know that, and he's okay now. He doesn't have the cancer.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
these things can happen, if it's the right combination of energies between the healer and the client.
Yeah, that's really, really fantastic because, you mentioned vibration, that only like certain illnesses or diseases can exist in a certain vibration. So when people change their vibration, and then they may not have the illness at that point. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, for me, disease starts in the auric field, which is the energy field out from us. We all have an aura, and we have an energy field around us. That's why when you walk into a room, you may be drawn to certain people because the energy and your energy combine and work together. But to other people, you may just be repulsed, and that is because of the energy between the two people. So everybody has an energy field, and disease starts from the outside and comes in to the energy field. To the last manifestation is the physical, when they may have a disease. So oftentimes you have to work in going out, and sometimes you work out going in, depending on what a person needs. But every disease has a signature or has a vibration. Diseases are lower vibrations. Health is a higher vibration. So if you keep your vibration up and you are healthy, you have less chance of having disease.
Right.
An interesting thing happened for us in that my teacher and I, Myrna, they had a hurricane in Florida, and it was called Andrew. And all these men became positive after Andrew, and we couldn't figure out why, because they were not positive before Andrew. So what we began to learn was that if you have that vibration in your aura, it can take a physical, geological happening such as a hurricane, a volcano, earthquake, that can go then into your body because it's waiting. It's looking for a place, a crack in your aura to go in.
Oh, I see. So it's also based upon your environment and what is going on in your surroundings.
Yes.
So it could happen going from the outside into your auric field.
Right.
And then it also affects then your vibration.
Right.
Which can allow for these illnesses then to exist. Is that correct?
Right. That's correct. And now it's happened many times at the Healing Circle in Chicago. We would have people that would come in, and there's a certain point on the body that is the key point that we know when somebody has HIV in their body or in their aura. There's two separate things. And if they would come in, they would have HIV. My students who I taught where this point is and what to look for would call me over and say, would you check this point? And I would, and we'd all know what we're talking about. We do not make medical diagnosis because we are not licensed medical professionals, but we would know that that energy was sitting in their auric field, and then we would do specific things tonally and with energy, and it would break open the aura, and we would take it out, and it would leave. Now, we couldn't tell them, but they were clean, and they went away, and they were okay, but it was sitting there, and it was waiting. And that's often what healers do, is there can be things waiting within your energy field that need to be cleared.
Right, and through these healing circles, such as the one we'll have here at Sungates Center,
yes.
Which they can go for more information on sungatescenter.com. But what it is that here at the healing circles, these in your energy field, it could be identified by one of our certified healers, and they can go ahead and comb that out, so to speak, and pull that out of your energy field, because even though it's dormant, it may not actually go into the body at that point, but it could be discovered, so there's enough time to get it out before it can go into the body.
Right, exactly. So, two things can happen. Someone could have something sitting in their auric field, some type of disease or illness, and with the proper healing, that can be then released so it does not go into their energy field, and they would take on a major disease. Or if they do have a major disease, we can actually work with them to help ease what's going on. You can't always take it out, but it can be helped to put them into a place that they can heal if they choose and choose to work with it, because all illnesses are a call for them to wake up to what they're doing in their life and make some changes most of the time with illnesses. Some of them are karmic, and that's a little bit harder to work with, but it can be, and you can help them heal. That doesn't necessarily mean they'll be cured, but if they heal, they can go to a better place, have a better life, have a longer and healther life.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's being proactive, having people understand and have an awareness that the way and how illnesses do work and why we get them. It's also, letting us know that there's something we did not address. Maybe there's something in our life that we need to work on, and this illness is pointing us in that direction, or at least opening up an awareness for us that we need to focus on.
Right. So what's happened in my practice is that what I didn't know is I was being taught by Spirit, because if I would come across a person and I didn't know that everything that I was doing was not working, I would turn it over to Spirit and say, okay, what is needed here? And they would give me a message, they would give me a feeling or show me something, and I would do it, and it would work. And Spirit doesn't always tell you why it works. You have to learn that on your own.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
it takes a day, sometimes it takes a year. But, you eventually figure it out. And that's how my practice grew. That's how I taught Reiki. I taught not just traditional Reiki, but I would put in there everything that I learned as a healer because I felt people needed that. My Reiki Master course was a 1-year course. All the attunements were done in Sedona, Arizona, which is a very high energy spiritual place.
Oh, yeah. Sedona sure is, with the vortexes and
yes,
all the healing centers and the people out there that are willing to help you on your spiritual path.
Exactly. And from there, I went into shamanism not knowing that's what I was being taught at the time. And that's the work I do now. And it's when I clear, I used to clear just the physical body and what was around the person. And that's in what we call the third dimension. Now I clear multidimensionally. So a person may have a disease. Does this disease only come from this dimension, or is it connected to other higher dimensions or lower dimensions? If it is, those need to be cleared because otherwise they have less of a chance of healing or going to a better place.
Okay.
So you have to clear all of that.
All right. So we live here on Earth in the third dimension,
Yes.
and you said that there are many, many other dimensions and where this can come from. So it's not always something that we know about that's just from here. You're saying that it could be from other places?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, for me, it means that, a dimension is so huge we cannot, as a human, really understand or fathom it with our mind. It's way too big. When you just even look at the third dimension, it's way too big for us to know everything that's going on in the world, inside the world, and around the world. Okay, so I just go to ask Spirit, what dimension do we need to go to? Okay, so it's a huge mass of space and energy. And if they need to go to the 50th dimension where this being is coming through and wreaking havoc on the person, I'll go to the 51st and clear all the ones in between.
So people who are already experiencing an illness can also benefit from coming to the healing circle.
Yes, yes. And, the problem is that people who have illnesses are in a weakened state, both with their energy and with their vitality, and they're open victims to having things come in, especially if they've been in hospitals, nursing homes, funeral homes, if people go to bars. These are all places that carry high levels of negative energy, and they do not have the defenses a healthy person has. They're in a weakened place, and things can attach to them. And that's what we do, is we remove a lot of that so they can be clean and clear again.
Okay. So these healing circles are designed to help people, and they don't have to know exactly what it is that the healer is doing, but know that they are getting the help that they need. And we know that, too, it doesn't replace going to your doctor.
No, it's not. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. But the energy and the healing work that you do is so profound because of the results that people have gotten. Can you share some of the results that you've seen from benefits for the healing circle?
Yes, we have many people that come to the healing circle that have certain diseases, and they walk away feeling much, much better. Oftentimes, it's better than taking any pills. It relieves the pain. Sometimes it's long-lasting, sometimes it's short-term, but often the effects are amazing, that they have not felt this good in a very long time. Often we know that there is a problem. I will not tell someone if they have a disease, but I will say, are you having a problem in your stomach? Because I can feel it. And they say yes. And I'd say to them, go to the doctor and get this checked out. You need some testing. So we can push them in the direction, because we need medicine, but we need to bring allopathic medicine and energy medicine together as one and work as a unit. They shouldn't be two separate things. They should be complementary to each other to help people get better and healed.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful that, you're able to detect, certain things going on within a person that, they need to maybe go see the doctor, and when they go to the doctor and the doctor confirms exactly what you said, I think that's very, very great that people can get that kind of help from the healing circle as well. Can you explain one more thing, though?
Yes.
About what it means to be a shaman? What is shamanism? And how has that helped you?
Shamans have been around for thousands of years. And generally they've been tribal people that have worked with the people in their tribe, and they've healed them both physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So they've worked on many levels with them. And we don't have necessarily recognized shamans in our culture. There are many people that are studying shamanism with shamans in South America. There's shamans in Russia. There's shamans in almost every culture there is. And for me, shamanism means you are spirit-taught, spirit-led. Now, you can learn by working with a shaman, but my type of shamanism was spirit-taught. They taught me as I worked with healing, and if something didn't work or the person needed something, they would give me, do this, do that. So every time I do a healing or a clearing of a house or a business, which I do a lot of, I go in there without a script per se, and I go, what does this person need? What does this home need? How do we clear it first? Then often I grid it with crystals to hold the energy so negative energy doesn't come in after that, and they can stay healthier longer. Because a lot of times when you work on a client, they will be clear when you work on them, but when they get to their house, all that stuff is waiting for them, and it's a very negative environment. Those things need to be cleared also. Hospitals need to be cleared. And people are not necessarily aware of this, but I think this is the future that we will be coming into, is that we have to keep our environments clear, we have to keep our bodies, which are our temples, clear, and we have to do this in many, many different ways. It's by what we think, it's by what we eat, it's by what we breathe. It's how we work with ourselves, the type of people we work with. They can add or take away from our energy field.
Right. And I think it's really important to know, that people can come also to see you, Michael, and you'll be out there helping them to clear their homes. You can help them clear, places where they go, or they clear their bodies.
Yes.
And so you are available to do these clearings for people?
Yes, I am. It's what I do. And I do it all the time.
Okay. So we would love to, introduce you to people through Sungates Center, where people can get in touch with you through sungatecenter.com, and also attend the Healing Circle. Yes, we would love to have you come and experience. You'll be the judge whether this is for you or not, and whether it works. I think many people will enjoy it. Some people may not. But it benefits everyone in some fashion or another. I'll give you a couple examples. My father had cancer, and he never smoked. It was of the lungs, and I only did a Reiki attunement on him every day. In the morning, I would do that and then leave and go to work. And my father did not have one day of pain with his cancer. It went throughout his body. And the day he was dying and his organs were shutting down, the hospice nurse came, and we gave him a little bit of a painkiller just to make certain he was okay. And I asked her, do you ever see this? And she says, no. She says, this type of cancer is very painful, but that was my gift to my father, that he would die in a very good place and without any pain. Right, and I think that, helping people to transition, while they're,
exactly.
in the stages that, they will be passing, to be, pain-free, like what you do, is to really help those people to make it easier for them. And then you also help them, once they've passed, is to transition into the light.
Yes, exactly.
And so they have that direction of going there, and it happens, peacefully.
Right. And then once those people are in the light, they can help us on this side. So it's not just a one way. It's all of us are helping each other in the long run.
Right.
So.
Yeah, because we're never alone here, right?
No, we're never alone. Not at all. Believe me, it's not me doing the healing. It's spirit that comes through that does the work. And anybody who says, I am doing this, I am doing that, is coming from ego, and that's not what it's about. It's about letting the energy flow through you and letting spirit flow through you to do what needs to be, because we are just conduits and channels for this wonderful energy, and it's a blessing because every time I do a healing, I get a healing also. And that's wonderful for all of us healers who come to Sungate and who are willing to share our modalities with the public. And there will be many people that will be doing classes. I will be doing classes also. We'll all be available to do healing sessions, whatever you need. And if you need something from another healer, we've met each other, we're getting to know each other on an ongoing basis, we will be able to refer you to somebody that we feel that can do the job of what you need.
Right, so people can get connected.
Yes.
At Sungates Center. And, Michael, this is so interesting. It's very interesting work, because I think that's what our listeners are looking for. They're looking for a place where they can go, get healing. And you can also do healings over the phone. Is that correct?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So, there's many different ways, because it's energy. Everything is energy, and everything carries a vibration.
Yes.
And to be more uplifting and to be in a higher vibration is healthier.
Yes, it is.
Right?
And that's how animals judge us. That's why if an animal comes up to you and likes you, it's because they like your energy. If they're not doing that and they're growling and I mean, it can be many things, but it's generally they may not like your energy. It means change something, do something with yourself. Get back to nature, take walks through the woods, change how you're living and your diet, change how you're thinking, improve your life, whatever that takes for you to do that, and be a happy person. And one happy person and two happy people lead to more happy people, and the world becomes a better place.
Oh, absolutely. Just keep, passing it forward, right?
Exactly.
Smile at somebody and they'll smile back at you. And, it's really very, very exciting work. Helping people, in a daily life that you spent your life now, just wanting to help the next person.
Exactly.
And
I had a psychic reading when I was very young, in my early 20s, and this psychic looked at me and said, "You are a healer," and I went, "Oh yeah, right." But it all came out. It came out for various reasons, and I try to use it for the betterment of the person or the people I work with and mankind in general, because we're in a world now that we need a lot of healing.
Oh, absolutely. And, within divine timing, that things happen, they happen for reasons. And, we're learning as we grow, as we go through on our path. So it's as if in the very beginning you didn't know that you were a healer. And at some point you realized it, became aware of it, and you knew that was the path you wanted to be on. Yes,
that's right.
And
it's my life. And those of us who are healers know this is our life and this is our path. This is what we are meant to do. And I meet others. One of my Reiki master students who teaches at Santa Fe, her new boyfriend, he and I have lifetimes together as being shamans, and we remember them when we talk about those lifetimes. And it was easier a long time ago to be a shaman because it was an isolated group that you were dealing with, now everything is so vast and the world is so small, and yet it's so big at one time. So things are changing dramatically all the time. And we need to bring light to the areas of the world where there's conflict. We need to help heal that. We need to have a peaceful world.
Right. And I think that, on a daily basis, people can just send out energy, positive energy,
right.
That lightens up the darkest places.
That's right.
And just imagining it, using your imagination to vision that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know you mentioned about animals, how animals are here. They actually help us on many different ways. And, animals are very intuitive. They know why they're here. They know a dog is a dog, and, the cats are cats, and they know who they are, and they know what they're supposed to be doing. I think it's us that we're the ones still learning, right?
Yes, the humans have a ways to go, but, we're getting there. And, I just like to say to everybody that you've all seen healing, and you've all received healing and not understanding that. When you were a child, and if you ran and fell and hurt your knee, and you would scream, and most people scream for mommy first, some scream for daddy, and they pick you up and they take you and clean the wound and put something on and put a Band-Aid and they kiss it, and all of a sudden the pain's gone, and then the kid runs off and plays again because that's his job, to be out there doing that. And what have the parents done? The parents have done a healing. They've taken that pain away with their love, because all healing comes from love, and we've all experienced it, but we haven't thought about it that way. So every time you see a child, if he falls and he gets hurt and his mother takes him or her and heals them, that's what she's doing or he's doing. They're using love to heal that child. And the child knows it. And they feel it because they're empathic and they're very aware. So it's part of our culture. It's part of our world. We just don't think of it that way.
Right. I think, like you mentioned, the mom, mother's love, helping, their child when in need. And the child knows where to go. It could be to the dad, too, right?
Yeah.
It could be, a sister or a brother, that they turn to, for that love. So they're looking for love. And you mentioned, love is in healing, because love is everything.
Yes.
Right? And so we do it with that intention of love, right? And at the healing circles as well, it's a very, nurturing environment. And people can actually sense the wonderful energy in the room. You can walk into a room and if the energy is good or not so good.
Yes.
And so that's what you do with rooms, too, is with their clearings. But when people come to the energy circles, they're going to feel that for themselves.
Yes. And, I've cleared the Sungates Center, and we've set it up that it's good energy. And what most people really love about the healing circle is the very end, if they stay, because everybody gets a hug from everybody else. And if you have 20, 30, 40 people, you're receiving all those hugs, and all those hugs are healing, and it's all love, and you take that with you. And then you touch other people in your life, and they receive that love too. So you pass it on, you pass it forward. So everybody come and get hugged. It's wonderful. It's a safe environment. You'll walk away in a state of bliss, and it'll be something new that you will really take with you and good for your body and your heart and your soul.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Michael, is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
I'm just saying, come and open up to the possibilities of who you are and what Spirit has for you. There's so much that we can do together. We can all learn. I'm always learning. I never stop. I may teach, but I also learn from my students. So it's a wonderful symbiotic balance that goes on between us. We all give. We all enjoy each other, and my students become my friends, and we create a larger family, and we heal each other, and it's a very nice thing. So come and meet us, and experience us, and enjoy us, and be part of our family.
Well, thank you, Michael. Really appreciate that, and we're so excited to have you here at Sungates Center. to be teaching and to lead us in our healing circles. And so for more information, people can go to sungatecenter.com, find out more about that. And so again, Michael, thank you for being on our radio program, and thank you to our listeners. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. And again, we are sharing the light.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Blessings to you all.
Blessings. Bye now.
Bye.